We're back here with Dan Bishop, and we're talking interior structural issues, specifically 3 of them we have here. But specifically, let's start with I can't get my door open, or my window is like kind of stuck. And what's going on there,
well,
Dan?
generally speaking, that's when you're in an older home,
Yes,
and the foundation has been settling over the years, and it's very common where you have your bathroom door doesn't shut all the way, so a carpenter comes over and he cuts a little saw blade off there and he shuts it again, and then some other doors in the upstairs of your house don't shut properly, so they start cutting the tops off doors, and it goes a little more every year, and then finally you're gonna think, yeah, maybe I'll call a foundation guy over here, and maybe he'll be able to.
So that's what's probably happening. Your
foundation from settling.
is moving.
And in a lot of houses, you have the perimeter of a house with your block walls, and everything seems to be good, but through the whole center of this humongous house, they have a really thin concrete floor, and they have some poles holding up the center beam of the house, and that's settling faster than anything. Nobody's paying attention to that. And that's when all your doors get wonky and everything gets crazy. And you can't open your windows anymore.
It's like a clown house.
Yeah.
It's like the fun house, but it's not fun.
It makes it a mess. It's not that hard to fix it, but it can be a real tough gig if you don't get somebody in your house that knows foundations.
So don't start just whacking away at the doors. Right?
No,
check that out.
We're-
The doors aren't getting bigger, right? They're not growing.
Right.
Let's talk about cracked ceilings. That's happening through, again, there's shifts in the structure.
Now, cracked ceilings generally aren't as structural as they are just an old ceiling, lath and plaster. You can start to see the lines. You can see the lines, structural lines behind where the plaster is put on, so it starts to crack and fall apart. And sometimes that's just gravity over time, little, minor movements. Every house is going to have a little bit of movement. And it just, a lot of times ceilings will just need replaced and or gone over and resupported.
Do cracks like that ever happen in newer homes, like maybe just, couple of 3 years, 5 years old, or is that just...
Sometimes that does happen, and that comes down to, a lot of times, the lumber that was used, because some lumber, if it gets warm or if it gets cool out, it'll start moving. It'll expand and contract. Yeah, I've seen issues. Mainly, that's an issue with trusses, because for a while they were making trusses out of southern yellow pine. And southern yellow pine is stronger lumber than most lumber, but boy, does it move in the winter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's the best wood for a truss?
Well, a lot of times they'll use just straight pine.
Okay.
But they like to use a better grade of lumber, and mostly it is southern yellow pine.
Oh, okay.
And I've seen second floors of houses where the whole perimeter of the ceilings just crack every year, and you can't stop it. So we'd have to go in there and put up a little crown molding around there so you don't see it.
One thing I've learned about
Another
Dan...
trick.
Well, no, Dan finds ways of solving the problem, really identifying what the problem is, but, in that case, it's not structurally dangerous, so just make it look nice.
Well, you can put up a decorative molding that looks nicer in your room, or you can spend thousands more to try to fix that problem and then make it perfect. So
I don't know.
you.
In that case, just make it look nicer for about a few $100, maybe a couple thousand,
For a lot less.
Okay, last one here. We're talking floor to ceiling settling cracks that are non-foundation. I don't know how do you fix those? What are we talking about here, Dan?
Well,
I would assume that any crack in a floor would be a foundation thing.
Then that's generally from a century home. Now you have a good foundation. You just have an old house or an old structure that has just been there long enough that. And sometimes it's a combination of you're getting cracks in there because sometimes some of the nails rusted through. You've had moisture through the years, whatever. The nails are rusting.
Been there long
and things are just starting to let go. So you got to go through there, put some new fasteners in. You got to open things up and inspect it. And yeah, we've actually had entire walls that just needed all the nails let go.
Just new nails.
So we put screws in there. And but new fasteners, put it all back together. It was fine.
That's great, Yeah. So, weird thing that's happening with your house, it could be something big. Maybe it's not. Who knows? I'll tell you who would know, though. Dan probably would.
I probably would.
Yeah, I probably would. Dan, thank you so much for telling us what you know about houses.
You're quite welcome.